Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football and pro wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week. If you head over to YouTube, you can smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Click all notifications as well. And, of course, share the content when you can and stuff like that. It is Thursday Tier Talk. We're back at it. What's happening, my friend? How are you?
Not too bad, my brother. Not too bad.
Good. Well, we've a few bits to get through tonight. We're going to be talking, obviously, Carabao Cup. Interesting two first legs of these semi-finals. We're going to be talking, of course, the AFCON. We have a final. Not that we didn't predict it either. Not that it would have been too hard to predict it, but I think we nearly predicted the last 8, the last 4, and the two finalists, to be honest. We actually could have made a few quid off the AFCON if we were at it.
We did all right for two fat lads who know nothing about football, like.
And couldn't look further than the AFCON, you know what I mean? But we do cover it. But we do cover it, yeah, and we love it as well. We are going to have a look at the Premier League as well. We'll go through this weekend's fixtures as well. Going to get Darren's thoughts on Michael Carrick as well. 5 big games coming up for Michael Carrick as well. Not the ideal fixtures you would want for a new manager coming in. But obviously with Amarin making that kind of decision and it happening so quick and having to put an interim manager in place and stuff like that. Darren did also predict offline with me in WhatsApp and all, continually spoke about how Michael Carrick was the guy to take the job and not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I'm
eight days before he got the gig, I said, and they don't know the rest of my prediction, do they?
No.
This wasn't, sorry, somebody asked me about this because I sent this to a few people that I like and I explained who was coming in till the end of the season and who was getting it at the end of the season. And somebody came back to me and says, that was a great prediction. I says, that wasn't a prediction. I told you I had it on good authority who was A and who was B. So Michael Carrick was to get the gig between now and the end of the season. And apparently we're going German in the summer. And it'll be Julian Nagelsmann or Oliver Glasner. So I've heard, because they're both out of contract come the summer with Crystal Palace and Germany, respectively.
I'm also going to ask you for your best player so far in the 25-26 season. And I have a list of 11 players, which you can add to if you want. But I think there's a couple of players in there I think you'll be quite happy with that we have spoke about quite fondly on the podcast over the last number of months. So we'll pop that up in a little bit as well. But we will of course start with what's in there in the picture. Into the chat. First of all, Joanne's in there. How are you, Joanne? Hope you are good. We are both well. And Baz
hello,
is in
Joanne.
There as always as well.
Hello, Joanne. Captain Caramel.
He's in there as well. Absolutely. Just before we get into the Carabao Cup, I had a great trip away in Liverpool. I was feeling under the weather even while away. But I was on the cop and I had great seats right behind the goal. So I seen that lovely flick back to the keeper for the assist. I was right in front of it. So it was absolute quality. But I have to say, I was surrounded by, I would say about 4 or maybe 6 or 7 70-year-old plus season ticket holders who have been season ticket holders for a long, long time. And it was great to stand on the cop as well because they have the safe standing there with the guardrails, which is really cool.
Yep.
It's been a long time since I stood at a game and being a big old bugle with dodgy knees. It's nice to stand at a match and not be crunched up sitting at a match.
You get crunched into that seat, right? And then all of a sudden,
and then you try
to half time, and you're like, I need to just get up at half time to stretch this out.
You're pulling the WD-40 out of the bag to get the knees going.
I'm going to the concession stand. Are you hungry? No, I just need to stand and walk for 15 minutes.
Exactly. But they were sharing loads of great stories with us. And it was fantastic to listen to some of the old stories and stuff like that. And one of the lads who I was speaking to on the copy made a real good point about Liverpool this season. And the point that he made was that it doesn't matter whether Liverpool is playing Barnsley or playing Real Madrid. They play the exact same fucking game each match. Doesn't matter who they're playing. And it was a great point that he made, you know, and I could see it evolving in front of my eyes. We were playing the same game we play against top teams that we were playing against Barnsley and stuff like that. And also, but it was great. Listen, one of the lads gave us a story. He was in Heysel the night of the disaster. and he gave me some information on that as well. No, it was really, really cool. So it was great talking to them, and you know something, I have to say a big thank you as well. These guys so welcoming as well. They know we're out of town fans and all, and we know there's always that debate about, you know, local versus international fans and tourists and all that kind of crack that goes on. So it was great. They're very, very welcome. Great chat. We were talking
I feel like it's different if you're crossing the Irish Channel to go and watch a game of football, you know, in comparison to if you're 10 Yanks who've come from California and want to watch a game of soccer, or 24 lads from South Korea who want to, you know, I think it's very, very different.
Do you know what I said to Ben, and I found it was very weird? I said they put a tunnel between the south of England and France. And it's mad to think that they never put a tunnel in between Dublin and Merseyside, or Dublin and Liverpool. And it's so much shorter. It's insane. It's insane, the fact that we don't have some sort of a link-up system like that. Well, I think it's something like, is it like 150 kilometers or 200 kilometers as the crowd flies, or something like that?
If you look at it, don't forget the tunnel that goes to mainland Europe is the money channel, because that's exporting goods out to the whole of Europe and importing. Whereas little old us, we're only a little old island, and we don't necessarily have the fruits that they would want. Do you know what I mean?
But so there must be a massive from a tourist point of view. Tourists must be huge, like, you know what I mean?
What do they say in the business world? If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. And that's what I imagine. Like, it's the gateway to Spain, France, Germany, everywhere.
Links the whole continent,
it's just not the same with Ireland. I actually feel like we probably have a better opportunity of one coming into the West from the States. Do you know? Because, but this is like, because we're the first thing they touch. You know, when they come over, that the first thing that they get to is they reach the old emerald oil, and that's where things start turning good, you know?
Yeah, big up, Phil. Hope you're good as well. Happy New Year and all that, and I hope you had a great Christmas.
Absolutely, Phil.
The man is in. I haven't seen him in a few months or heard from him. Happy New Year, gentlemen. Coyle, I hope you're good, pal. I still have no faith in this Arteta. You better win us the title or out.
It's hard to believe these Arsenal fans are still crowning about Mikel Arteta, looking at the season they're having.
I think, do you know what it is? It's the fear when City get a little bit close. And I know that fear. I've been there. When they start to crawl around your backside and that blue shark starts coming, you know, it's, and to be honest with you, if they were to throw it away this season, that would be horrific, wouldn't it, really, when you think about it? But listen, Cole, Happy New Year, pal. I hope you're good. Cole, I sent you a few messages on Instagram as well. I don't know if you're working out of a different one. If you are sending on to me, I haven't heard that. I know you've probably been mental over the Christmas period and all, so I haven't seen you since beforehand, but hope you're good, pal. Hope you're good. And Bren is in, my partner, on the Pro Wrestling Week.
It's 268 kilometres from Dublin to Liverpool.
268.
It's a bit more of a spin than, you know.
It's not bad. I mean, what's 268 from here to Cork, from here to Kerry? Less? It's not far off it.
Well, it's saying 5 hours of a drive if you were to...
Not with you.
What are you suggesting?
I'm not on a three-lane tunnel where you're just going one way.
I think I was in the Fast and the Furious in that thing.
You need to... Tell you. I've white-knuckled a few corners in those Welsh mountains, all right. That's for sure. Brad, hope you're good, my friend. So much negativity about football at times. More stories like that I needed. Yeah,
Dover to Calais is only 84 kilometres.
Is it?
Yeah, wow. So it's a third of the distance.
I wouldn't have thought that now at all.
There you go. That's what I'm here for. I deal in facts. That's my currency.
Hard to believe it took them so long to build the fucking thing. How are you, Niall and Daz? That's amazing, Niall. So much negativity. Yeah, absolutely, Brent. And Coyle's back in.
Hey, Brent, how are you, pal?
Daz, never mind the season we are having. I want silverware to back it. So,
listen, 100%, Coyle. 100%. But also, look at all the teams in the league who would, you know, swap a nut with you to change places. You know, I think, you know, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs would all swap one of their nuts with you to be in your position in the Champions League, in the Carabao, in the FA Cup, top of the league, singing off the hymn sheet. Like, it doesn't get any better.
But if take it this way, if you're United, right? If you're in the position Arsenal are in now with Arteta,
yeah,
you would be demanding silverware as well, wouldn't you? You have to follow through, don't you?
You absolutely would be demanding silverware at this stage. We're almost in February. Yeah. We're almost in February. They're still in 4 cup competitions. They need to bring silverware across the line. Absolutely. For me, a Carabao or an FA Cup doesn't really satisfy my appetite if I'm an Arsenal fan.
That has to be the cream on top of something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's got to be you've nailed it there. It's got to be the cherry on top of the Premier League or of that elusive Champions League. I will say, you know, and I look at this in a situation where I'm looking at it with Amarin as well, right? Because, you know, Amarin's win record wasn't anywhere near Mikel Arteta's, so I'm not even going to suggest it was. But when things weren't going right for Arsenal, or maybe when the build was a bit slower than the fans would have liked and stuff like that, the board were happy enough to sit in and go, no, we're okay here. He's our man. And they did it to their detriment at times, because Arsenal fans were like, no, Arteta out. And the board were like, no, let's slow play. Let's give it a bit of time. He's building. We're going to add to this every window. Not only are they in 4 cup competitions, I'm with a chance of lifting 4 pieces of silverware, but quite comfortably, they have the best fucking squad in the league as well, which is also something Mikel Arteta has built while he's been there.
See that even last night, didn't you? See the crowd, the likes of Ben White and stuff like that and all, and still don't have to get out of third gear to do a number on Chelsea, although Chelsea had a bit of a boo-boo. I didn't see much of the game, in fairness, and stuff like that, but you could see by looking at it and stuff like that how it went down and stuff.
Well, here's the thing, and if I'm a Chelsea fan, if we took away this season and gone up, if I'm a Chelsea fan, there's 2 ways to look at last night. Last night was a decent start for Liam Senior, from a point of view of Chelsea played some good football.
They were missing key players as well.
Yeah, but they played some good football with what they had on the pitch. Yeah, right. They there was a great buzz. They were very attacking. They were on the front foot all the time, which at times maybe that wasn't the case under Maresca. He wants to play attacking football. First game out, you could see that. That's a huge plus of a Chelsea fan, especially given the kind of artillery that they have. So that was a huge plus. And they were in a game against the best team possibly on the continent, other than 2 individual mistakes by the same player. Yeah. You know, and that can happen on any given night. I mentioned it in the group chat. I've seen it happen time and time again at Old Trafford over the last number of years. We played a good game of football, and but for 2 silly mistakes from a centre half or a goalkeeper or somebody, we lose a game 2-0 or whatever, and all of a sudden everyone's
very, very hard to legislate for it as well.
You can do what you want Monday to Sunday as a manager with 25 players on a pitch, on a training pitch, and you can do all of that. But when you get to a Wednesday night like last night, you're banking on everyone doing the job you've put them there to do. And when the goalkeeper throws 2 in, there's nothing you can do.
And in fairness to him, he hasn't had the worst season either compared to last season.
No,
but we do know that that's in him.
Here's the 2 things I'll say about him, right? And I mentioned it in the group chat. I said the annoyance with somebody like Robert Sanchez is he goes from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Could have been 4 or 5-1 at one stage, yeah. When
the save he makes from Mikel Moreno late in the game is as good a save as you're going to see this season anywhere, right? It's a phenomenal save.
And keeps them in the toy, because
but they go and nick a goal after that. Yeah. That was a 3-1.
Yeah. Was the Moreno one? I didn't say. Was the Moreno one the one he saved with his legs that came across
Yeah,
him?
it was the volley.
That was a
Yeah, and
phenomenal save.
like that's as good as you see anywhere, right? So that's the annoyance. Now, here's the one thing I will say, and this is gonna hit home with you, and it definitely hits home with me. And if we think about Chelsea being in the upper echelons of English football teams with Arsenal, with City, with United, with Liverpool, if we're the big five, so to speak, yeah. If you're somebody like a Robert Sanchez, and this has happened to us for years, and this happened to you guys, when you take a Robert Sanchez from Brighton, yeah, you know you're buying a good goalkeeper because he's been in the league and he's proved it. However, the biggest thing when you play for the big teams is the concentration levels that are needed, because you go minutes, sometimes you go 20 minutes without touching the ball. And that's where, a good goalkeeper stands out from a great goalkeeper. You look at Alisson over the last number of years, and for me, up until the kind of injuries that have hit him in the last 6-8 months, he's been the best goalkeeper in the league, right? And one of the reasons has, when Liverpool were beating teams and maybe not putting them away, they were beating them but not putting them away, and it came to the last couple of minutes of a game and you needed a big stop from Alisson, he was there every single time. That was him.
And more often than not, those keepers don't have a lot to do in games, and it's only in those moments when they're called.
It's only right, and that for me would tell me that Robert Sanchez, as good as a goalkeeper he is, he's not there. He's not right there at the top of the pile, and that's why he needs to play for a Brighton, a Leeds, and that's
it's a tough one as well, because he has 4 guys in front of him that are makeshift every week, changing week in, week out as well. So it's very hard to build that relationship with your back 4. You've got Reece James in and out of the team, injured. Cucurella's probably the main guy who's been in there literally nearly every match. The right back changes all the time. The 2 centre backs change all the time.
I don't think that has anything to do with him coming
out.
Not
last night. Not last night. But you know what I mean in general.
I don't think that plays a big part, because don't forget, you can change players week to week, but you've either got that level of concentration or you don't. And if I look at one of the guys, and I'm going to mention him because I love mentioning him because I think he's phenomenal, and I know he gets loads of heat. One guy who, for me, has done a real good job of being able to do it at both levels is Jordan Pickford, because obviously at Everton, he's called upon quite regularly, right? And it's save. That doesn't necessarily mean it would translate to, say, the English national team when he needs to save 2 shots in a whole game and they're 60 minutes apart, but he does it. And he's been phenomenal for England. And he's coughed up way less goals or howlers for England than any other England goalkeeper in the last 20 years.
Interesting. In the list I said to you earlier, I haven't given you the list yet, 25, 26 best players so far. There's one keeper in it, and we talk about him. We wax lyrical about him. It's not Jordan Pickford. And it won't surprise you either, because we're both big fans of him as well. But he's kind of made this list. This must be the short list from the Premier League. But it'll be interesting. We will go through it in a few minutes anyway. So where do you think this lies at the moment? City probably comfortable enough. Is it going back to the Etihad?
They should be. The other thing I'm going to talk about with the City game was VAR.
Breaks your heart, doesn't it? It's just I know you had a bad result at the weekend in the FA Cup, but how nice was it to watch football with no fucking VAR? And if they get it right, they get it right. If they get it wrong, they get it wrong. We didn't appreciate it back then.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I do understand where you're
I was able to celebrate goals, and I didn't have to think. I didn't have to stop. I didn't have to look at a fucking screen.
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait for them to call back 5 fouls earlier.
No, you're right. It was kill. But the City game, how when they brought this VAR in, they brought it in with the tagline: clear and obvious error. Right? That was their
it's generally neither. It's neither.
Right? Well, it should be clear and obvious. Right. Well, let's look at the goal that that City score. The second Semenyo goal. Who, by the way, talk about hitting the ground running. Well, listen, he falls into it with Exeter. 10-1, you get your goal, get a couple of assists, everything's hunky-dory. And then he keeps going with Newcastle, like.
Do you know? But you know what it is about him? Do you know what it is about him? He just basically just changes the color of the jersey and plays the same. And you know something about him as well?
He hasn't tried to do anything different.
He also plays football in a way that if that guy was getting paid 20 quid a week, he'd still be playing football. He just
100%.
loves playing football.
Yeah,
and he very, if you watch him on his socials as well, he fully gets the advantageous position he has found himself in and how lucky he is, and appreciates every minute on the pitch. And I love to see that. I love to see that honesty in a goal.
You know what I couldn't believe?
I
saw something before Christmas, and it was either like a day in the life. It was either something like this, right?
Yeah.
And it was Antoine Semenyo, and we're cooking in the kitchen with Antoine and the girlfriend, right? And they were short ingredients. And they had to go to the shop. Yeah? Yeah, they just tipped down till it was either Lidl or Aldi. It was one of them.
Yeah.
Went in, bought their gear, came out with 2 shopping bags. Two. I go to Centre and come back with 5, right? And this lad comes out with Lidl or Aldi with 2 shopping bags.
The gear for
and he's on, it's right, and he's on probably 100 bags a week. Yeah. Real kill, gets back into his massive Jeep, takes a spin down the road, as happy as I like preparing food when I get home from training. Real cool. What?
Most lads have a chef.
They're known in like I'm like, are you not grating cheese off some chick's abs in the bleeding kitchen? No. Like, what are we doing here, lads? And real I'm gonna find it and send it to you.
And do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? That's family and that's parenting and that's drilled into you from a very young age. And it's amazing to see it. Look, how many guys do we look at that once they get the big check and the big move, they lose their mind. Going around in pink Range Rovers and all that kind of malarkey, you know what I mean?
Just while we're on this, I have a flea in my ear for somebody with exactly what you're talking about in mind. Yeah.
And now, before you go any further now, we'd appreciate a pink Range Rover. We do like our colours.
Listen, if there's anyone gonna drive a pink Range Rover, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Right. You've seen my footwear.
Pink brake calipers or whatever it is. Pink rims. Yeah.
Yesterday, I tuned into Instagram, having a little flick around. And there's multiple videos up there from all these various different outlets that Conor Gallagher has just signed for Spurs, right? And then we get the real glossy video, and the private jet is landing in London, yeah? Door of the private jet opens. The first part is he's brought the Chow Chow with him, the dog.
Yeah.
He has the dog on the plane, right? And the second thing is he has a fucking handbag on his arm. A handbag. A fucking handbag. Are we, what is fucking wrong with the world?
Not even the towel bag with the boots in, and not even a boot bag, no?
You know the Hermes, the Birkin bags?
Yeah.
It's one of them, a big black one with like silver chains and studs on it. Now, this thing is like a suitcase, and he's carrying it on his arm like he's just nipping in to pick in a pair of undies.
So this is justifying Simeone saying "fuck off out of here."
I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show it. This upset me.
Not the dog though.
Do you know? Hang on, look. Hang on. I've opened Instagram, and who's the first one on it? Hang on.
My God, that's all white to me. Just tell me.
Hang on.
White. Is that Conor Gallagher, is it?
Look. First, and what's in his hand?
Yeah.
Look. Let me get this picture. What is this lad at? What is this lad? Here we go. This lad's getting off carrying his fucking handbag, getting off the plane. Getting off the plane. El Connor. What am I watching here? Like what?
Changed man from his Chelsea days.
What am I watching here? Look at this. The big dog, the big chow chow, no problem. Gorgeous dog. Beautiful.
The dog is kill.
Look, sorry lads, look the bleeding handbag, will you? What my
Is it like an old teacher's school bag? Man, remember the old leather ones? Is it like that or something? No, I can't make it out much. So
no,
yeah,
it's desperate looking though.
Yeah.
Like absolutely desperate.
Well, you see, when you say that,
how do you? Here's a question for you.
But then you see, he fits the Spurs remit perfectly.
Well, here's the question: how do you walk in at Spurs, right, and go, "All right, boys, I'm the new signing"? How do you go in and do that? Morning, guys. Brought my new handbag. We're going to play a 4-3.
They're probably at that level where they don't care. What are Spurs doing signing them in the first place? They already have those guys in their midfield. Why do they want another one?
Well, there's Rodrigo Bentancur's out, isn't he?
But sure, he was out. He was out before this as well, wasn't he? Didn't he miss 3 or 4 months of the season already?
No. He's played a good bit, Bentancur.
No, he get an injury at the start of the season and he missed 2.5 months or something.
No, I don't think he missed that much.
I think he did. Have a look. I think he was out for.
Oh, you know I will.
I know you'll check me anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, because Marmoush has 2 and Salah has 4.
Okay, there you go. So two goals for Marmoush in the AFCON ain't great.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Bag full of dog toys and treats. That's okay. We love dogs around here. We're all in.
We absolutely do. But
I wouldn't be giving that treats out of a Hermes bag now or something like that, you know. So that's for
fucking
sure.
Embarrassing, man. No wonder Simeone packed him off.
I thought he was only back. I thought he was out for a good stretch.
Hold on, don't worry. I'll get this sorted. Look, I'll be here now. I have a way of doing this. You know this, yeah. Spurs, there they are. Right, it won't be that lineup, I can tell you. Matches, right, hang on, let's go. So, we are, what date's that? Yeah, no, we're all right so far, 90 minutes, 60 minutes, yeah, he's playing a lot of football here. Played. What date's that game?
I thought he missed about 2 months at the start of the season or something like that.
So they played the Super Cup against PSG and they drew 2-2, yeah?
Yeah.
And since then, through injury, he's missed 1 game.
So was it last season then he was out?
Yes.
Did he pick up a bad injury last season or something? Did he?
It was last season.
And what was it, an ACL or something? Was it something big or something?
No, he's done an ACL now, I think.
Oh, he's done an ACL now?
Yeah.
Maybe it was last season and he missed a clatter of games and I'm getting confused.
So they've got a serious list of injuries at the minute.
Massive.
Like Mohamed Kudus, Lucas Bergval, Kulishevsky, Bentancur, Maddison, Richarlison. Like that's what, a front 6?
Yeah.
It's not a bad front 6.
And they just sold Brennan Johnson, didn't they?
Got 35 million for Brennan Johnson, yeah.
So he's gone out of the building as well.
He's left the building. They do have, listen, they still got some quality there. They still got Odegaard. They've still got Xavi Simons, Matthias Tell. Dominic Solanke is now back on the pitch. He's fit.
That's right.
They've got the boy Archie Gray, João Palhinha, and now Conor Gallagher going into the mix. I like Gallagher as a footballer, I have to say. I like him much more as a footballer than a fashionista, let's say. But I do like him as a footballer. I think he's the type of player a lot of football teams overlook. He's the water carrier. He's the busy guy in the middle. He's the guy that does all the hassling and the harrying, all the dog work. I like Conor Gallagher. I'm a fan of his, I have to say.
You would have took him at United because there was talk, wasn't there?
I would, yeah. Yeah.
They were talking it's 40 mil and nearly 40 mil in wages for the contract.
It's 40 million euros. It's 34 sterling, which is 40 million euros. Like 40 million euros isn't a lot. Now, our issue is, here's what I will say. Conor Gallagher improves what we have, but Conor Gallagher ain't going to the top 4 or 5 teams in the country.
And that's where you have to be pitching now at this stage, isn't it?
And that's where you're pitching. So he doesn't get into City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Yeah.
If
you keep on boiling in around that middle section, you're going to stay in that middle section, aren't you?
Exactly.
That's
so we got to go and blow a big wedge in the summer on 2 midfielders. It looks like it's 2 from 4 for us. There's 4 names in the hat, and we get any combination 2 that we can.
I did say he's on form at the moment, Acers, isn't he?
Scored a hat-trick the other night, did very, very well. First goal he took was really good over the top. Great first touch, and then bang across the keeper. Took really well.
Great to see him playing with confidence as well. He's a confidence kid, isn't he?
I think most strikers are.
Yeah.
I do think, though, like Troy's been spoken about since he's like 15 years of age, when he played for Belvedere. And when he made that move and stuff like that.
You feel he's getting spoken about he's nearly at the end of his career, don't you? Because
and he's still so young, still so young.
Mm.
I'd love to see him make his way back to England. But I think right now, with scoring a hat-trick against Hungary and scoring the goal against Portugal and, the hat-trick the other day, you're getting to a stage where you're going to have to fork out an awful lot of money to get Troy Parrott into your club. Now, here's the thing I will say. I think if you're somebody spending that kind of money, I think you probably want a little more than Troy Parrott. And I mean no respect when I say that.
You probably have better suited options, maybe, at the same level of cost, maybe, potentially. That's the only thing.
Well, I just think, right, what's he going to cost you? You're not getting him out of building for less than 40 mil, right?
Maybe,
I wouldn't have thought
maybe
so.
A little bit more.
Well, let's say we're pitching at 40 million.
Yeah.
You could pick up some decent strikers for 40 million. I think Parrott's a good striker. I don't necessarily think he would be better than, what did Chelsea pay for the boy Estevao?
Was he 35 or something? Or
it was in and around 40 mil.
Yeah, 35.
So if I've got Estevao in this hand and I've got Troy Parrott in this hand, where am I going? And it's not just because.
Would you still be apprehensive at judging the Dutch league comparing to go back to the Premier League? You know the way we talk about the Bundesliga.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be, other than the fact I would, 100%. I would be, other than the fact he's been doing it in international football as well, or he started to do it. That's the one thing that I would say. Okay, yeah, he's in Holland. However, he did it to Hungary. He did it to Portugal. He started to do it a little more regularly on the international scene. Let's just go crazy. Let's say Ireland got through the playoffs and got to USA. Then I think that's where they have a huge opportunity to project Parrott to a bigger move. If he goes and scores 2 or 3 goals at a World Cup, all of a sudden now that 40's 50, and he's in a big conversation.
And you're in that window.
Yeah, but I still think that's stretchy for me.
Yeah,
as good as I think.
If you're his agent, where do you send him to? Where would you be advising him to go to? Where do you think he can go in and elevate in terms of that job, in terms of going into a team?
Do you know where I would love to see him? And there's a particular reason for this. I'm just going into the league table. So I would love to see him at Newcastle.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why. What do Newcastle love more than anything? Good striker. Good number 9. Right? You've got Jackie Milburn. You've got Alan Shearer. Yeah. You got Michael Owen came in behind him. You got Alexander Isak. It's some teams at United, it's always who wears the number 7. That number 7 was always a big thing, right? At Liverpool, it might be the number 9. That's who. And I think at Newcastle, it's that number 9. They look at a striker and that's what they want it to be, I I think somewhere like in Newcastle. Now, like, could he do a job for a Fulham? Absolutely. I think he'd be tremendous at somewhere like a Fulham. I think he'd do very well at a Brighton, at a Sunderland, places like that.
Back with Keith Andrews at Brentford?
I don't think I take him with the way Thiago's playing at the minute.
No, I get you. But I mean, if you're elevating up, if you're trying to move up into a certain level, you're gonna have a lot more against Forest, yeah.
West Ham have just bought 2 strikers, but yeah, West Ham. Leeds, I think you do a tremendous job at Leeds. I think you'd be a great foil for Dominic Calvert-Lewin if you could get 2 of them on the pitch. Calvert-Lewin's so good with his hold-up play. He's terrific in the air. And then you have somebody like a Troy Parra who can go in behind and stuff like that. Again, he's a prolific goal scorer. He is just a finisher, you know. Those kind of places.
Just to cover more stuff. Who's your picks for who's going to the final here? Who are you going with? You going with City, obviously?
You got to go City and Arsenal with the way the toys are after the first leg. You got to go City and Arsenal.
Okay, AFCON. We got Senegal and we got Morocco. Both we had predicted.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Who takes it?
Well, I won't change now. I said Morocco before the tournament started, and I'll stick with them. They're the hosts, and they're the informed team on, how they've done it the last couple of World Cups and stuff like that. They've got some terrific players. Brahim Diaz is having a great tournament. He's a top goal scorer. Hakimi, Mazraoui, the boy Bruno in goal, who made a couple of saves last night against Nigeria in the shootout. They've got the quality. I think it'll be difficult to see anything other than a Morocco win. Now it could go all the way.
What's gonna work in terms of Senegal experience? Being there, done it.
Being there and done it. Been there 4 years ago, lifted the trophy, or 2 years ago, lifted the trophy. And the weight of expectation on Morocco as the home team.
Home side, yeah. Home side.
Everybody in that stadium or a huge majority is going to have.
Although Morocco have leveled up, haven't they, since the World Cup?
Morocco are so good. They're so good. But I think if anything is going to get them, it's that weight of we're supposed to win this. Now I tell you what, I'm gonna throw something in here. I like some guys and I don't like some guys in general. There's a guy that plays for Morocco and I'm a huge fan of him. Hakimi. I think he's a tremendous leader.
What an engine. Engine.
He's a great engine. But, he does remind me of a guy that when he pulls on that Moroccan jersey, he could walk on water, so to speak. That would, he just raises, he ends up being 6 inches taller, 2 or 3 steps quicker. He feels that badge heavy on his chest.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is as well? He's that guy that just before you go out of the tunnel, the coach walks over and pats him on the back and says, "Kid, this is your fucking moment."
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't he? He's the guy that you can lean on and elevates people 100%. Around him as well. Yeah. Elevates because he's demanding as well of a certain level of performance.
Absolutely. And if you go into that game and things get tough and you look around and you go, right, we could be in trouble here. And then you just turn to that spot and you go, hang on, we might be all right here. We've got this boy here and he's going to fucking drag us there on his back if he has to. Great leader.
He's PSG as well, isn't he? So do you ever see? Do you see him for PSG as well, where there's so much flair around him? He's that guy when it's not going right that goes, "Fuck you, I'm gonna sort this now." Isn't he? He's that lean on type of guy that when you're under a bit of pressure, you can rely on him to lean on him to be.
I really, really like the guy. I have to say now, really, really like him. And I
wonder what he'd be like in the Prem. Be killed the same. And there's some players we look at and we go, love to see him in the Prem.
I do imagine he glances. I do imagine he glances. Now here's your problem. What's he cost you?
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
the
like
issue.
if you're
And you're dealing with a club that ain't short a few quid either, so it's not like
yeah,
they're
so there's
leaning on
no
it.
there's no PSR or
Yeah.
FFP there. So you do kind of have to wait either till he gets pretty close to the end of a contract, or decides that I'm going to run one down completely, and then maybe you get him. Would love to see him in the league, just because I would love to see could he maintain that level on a week-to-week basis. Because when we've seen him for PSG, for Morocco, for Real Madrid, he has done it. He's been phenomenal, you know?
Yeah. Where he kind of feels like a Pep kind of player, doesn't he? A City kind of player, doesn't he?
He does, but don't forget, like, we're probably getting pretty close to the end of Pep as well.
True. I often love as well, you see that affinity with the French league, with the African players and stuff. You know what I mean? They hold it in high regard and stuff like that. Whereas we'd be looking at that going, you're that much of a baller. And I know it's obviously PSG, so it's a huge club,
Yeah.
lots of success and all. But you look at it as well and you go, would you not love to be scaling it up in the Premier League big time? Like, you know what I mean? Like
you see, we obviously support teams in the Premier League, so in our eyes, it's the best. Now, listen,
but we love European football as well.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
But like, you know, for me, nothing beats the Premier League. Nothing. Now here's the one thing I will say. If you look at it, and I saw this statistic over the course of the AFCON. So I need to try and phrase this correctly. They looked at where the biggest number of players playing at the AFCON were born, right? So there's the continent of Africa, right?
Yeah.
And it'll show you country by country. So I think there was 8 born in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget, Cameroon have 23 players at the tournament.
Yeah.
8 of them were physically born there. And then there was, 16 from here and 20 from here and this and right. And it goes all the way across the continent. Do you know which country had the biggest number of people born at the AFCON?
Natural born players to that country is what you mean.
No. What country? So what country were the biggest number of players born in that played at the AFCON?
This is going to be something spurious, is it? This is not going to be obvious.
It's not. It's real obvious.
Oh, is it real obvious?
Yeah.
I would assume South Africa, no?
South Africa's not a big continent. Sorry, not a big country. Africa's the continent. South Africa's the country. But no. The biggest number of players, I think it was 122.
Okay.
Yeah. All came from the same country.
Okay.
France.
Oh, sorry. I figured that
France
was
had the largest number of birds.
Sorry, I thought you meant players that were naturally born within their country. Like you were talking about Cameroon.
No.
Sorry, I read it wrong. Then I would have expected France.
That's why I was saying to you, I have to try and phrase this properly. Yeah. There was 122 players, and the funniest part of it was, right, when you see France on a map, yeah? Well, there was north, south, east, and west, yeah? And then right in the middle, there was this little blob. And it was a tiny little blob in the middle of France. There was 22 players from that blob. Not just even right there. Just right there.
Did you go back and look and see historically? Is that where they were brought in and where they settled through history?
I have no idea. Yeah. I just saw the graphic and I went, "What am I looking at here? Like this is, what it could be, right? And this is gonna."
Because you know the way you see the immigrants and stuff like that, and you see Calais and the port. Of course, yeah. You know what I mean, so.
Well, it wasn't necessarily coastal. It was a little more inland.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to tell you was, and I just thought this was mad, it was a really small thing to the point where I said to myself, I wonder, are they just high-rise flats? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like now, if you came to Ireland, maybe from a different country, they might send you to direct provision or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they might put you into asylum hotels and this kind of jet.
Yeah.
Little blob in the middle of France, 122 players, were born there from this year's AFCON. 120.
It'd be nice to see the age profile, wouldn't you? Just go back in time and see, well, what was going on during those years. Like, if these guys are, say, somewhere between 20 and 25.
Other than a lot of banging, like.
No, I don't mean that. I mean in terms of parents locating there, or, you know, did refugees come in and fall in love with French people? You know, what way did it work? I don't know.
I know what you mean. I would imagine if you look at the demographic of when they were born, and you look at when people would have come to settle in France, you see a lot of civil war around Africa.
Yeah.
That people fled from.
Got out of town.
They ended up in Africa. They ended up in France. And that's where they decided to populate and stuff like that. But I thought it was very interesting. I'm going to try and get you the picture later on.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because when you think of France tend to, when stuff like that happens, France tend to corral them into a location, don't they?
This is what they did.
To spread. So that's obviously going back looking at that. If you can connect whatever was going on, civil war, whatever, in Africa at the time, and when they fled to France, and how did France treat that situation? Especially now, because it's so on the news now, when you look at the Ukraine and everything that's on the news every second day and stuff about immigrants and refugees coming in and stuff like that. Now, it'd be interesting to get a look at that, wouldn't it? And just kind of see, you know, not necessarily, we obviously knew they were banging us because obviously they produced the kids. But, like, you know, it'd be interesting to see, like, how France dealt with that and how come it's so congested in that pocket, you know? Yeah.
See?
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Isn't that look at the whole continent of Africa here.
Yeah.
And look at that pocket.
Yeah. And it's quite central northern, isn't it? So you would think as well, coming up from Africa, that you'd be looking at landing somewhere southern or more closer. You know what I mean?
They are saying in this one, you can find visual representation. They are saying in this one that it's 206 players. Hang on, here we go. Except I thought this was just crazy when I read it. You know, 206 players born outside the country that they represent. Yeah. 10 born in the Ivory Coast, 14 in Belgium, 17 in England. 17 were born in England at the AFCON this year. 24 in Spain, 122 in France. Isn't that batshit crazy?
Do you know something? I wonder if we looked at Europe now and the handling of the Ukraine situation. I wonder does it look quite the same in terms of the percentages that certain countries take in?
22 players born in Paris at the AFCON. It's a full squad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Paris.
Yeah. Interesting. It's very interesting when you look at it, isn't it? The connection there with history and then
I couldn't believe it when I seen it. I was like, what am I watching here? I was like, you know? Now, obviously, for a long time, don't forget, the French national team have been the Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
Where you've got Tunisians, Algerians, you've got Senegalese, Congolese, you know, Ivorians and stuff like that. Kylian Mbappe, Cameroonian. So there's a lot of that. But to see it the other way, it's almost like we were born in France, but we're not good enough to get into the national team. So we'll go to the ancestry route and we'll play for Ivory Coast, Senegal, you know, wherever.
Which makes sense if you want to play international football, which does add to your potential value.
Listen, if I'm born in Ireland and they don't pick me, but I have a granny. If my mother was born in Malta and they want to give me a cap, do I take it? Of course I do, absolutely, because I've got an affiliation to that country. So
we look at what is it, Matty Cash, Poland, is it?
Yeah, Cash is Poland. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know? And you would take a baller like Matty Cash, like he was a very, very good player as well. Probably could get somewhere close, potentially to the England squad, but declared for Poland, you know. So
wasn't getting near the England squad.
Well, maybe not with what's there at the moment.
Kyle Walker, Reece James, Trent
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold, Kieran Trippier, Tino Livramento. They might let him carry the water bottles.
Maybe.
But if he was a left back, he'd walk into the team.
Yeah.
So, it is. It's crazy.
So here's the secret, lads. Start declaring yourself as left backs.
Start saying your left
not
backs.
Right backs. Yeah, start saying your left page. Yeah. Right, let's go down through the Premier League pretty quick because we do want to talk about Carrick and this other stuff as well. So start off, obviously the derby's the big one, Man United versus Man City.
Is it a good time to get them? I'm not sure. They're not. I wouldn't say they're in a rich vein of form. They obviously put Exeter to the sword, and they were quite good against Newcastle. But up until then, there'd been a couple of hiccups along the way in the Premier League and stuff like that.
They're kind of a little bit workman-like kind of.
They get it going,
yeah,
and then they fall off, and then they get it going, and then they fall off, and there's only so many. If they don't catch fire soon, Arsenal are going to get further away, and that's the problem.
Yeah, no, they have to go on a run now. They have to go.
They do. I'm actually okay with, we're home. We generally up our game for the bigger games.
Yeah, true.
We could possibly have a new manager bounce. Plus, you've got the added bonus of the boys back from the AFCON, and you might have the addition of a change of shape. I would say as optimistic as I could be. I don't think that's going to happen at all, Joanne. I really don't.
I could see a 2-0 with you still being in the game for big parts of it.
Well, I think we score.
Okay.
And the only reason I think we score is they have a lot of changes, City, in the back line.
That's right.
Now, the boy O'Reilly's been excellent, and a guy who didn't look like a guy who was going to make it at Manchester City. Matheus Nunes has really done a standout job this season in that right back slot.
He's primarily a midfielder.
Well, he was a midfielder at Wolves.
Yeah. I think, do you know where you can really get at them if the boys are back? Because they have Ake out there on the left, don't they?
Two centre backs. No, well, O'Reilly plays left. Ake's been the left-sided centre back.
That's right, sorry, yeah. And they have the other boy, what's it, Kushinov, the 21-year-old?
Yeah, so you could get a Kushinov and you could get again against Ake. Now, you might want a big Benjamin Sesko to go up against them too and try and bully them and put the arm on them. Or you do what Amrin did in the previous game, not against City. But remember, he didn't play Sesko. Was it Liverpool?
Yeah,
I think it was Liverpool. Yeah. He didn't pick him against you. That's right. It was you guys. And remember, he came out afterwards and he said, I didn't want to put him in because I was putting him in to do what, Van Dijk would have wanted to do with him, to rough him up. I played guys who were quicker with the ball at their feet and tried to play around. Yeah. And we were like, well, that made perfect sense. Well, so you've the option of you go with Sesko because he's on fire at the minute. He scored, 3 in his last 2. Or you may be sitting down and you bring him on at the end when City go a bit soft at the back, hopefully, and you bring him in when he's fresh and just start letting him land on Kushinov and Ake. I think we'll get something out of this. Now, some people will say that's absolutely blind optimism, but I think we'll get something out of it.
The thing about it is, it's not like you haven't got results before against them when they've been
absolutely
extremely hot favourites on the run and using not in a real good place. So.
The only thing I will say is, at the minute, I'll tell you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see a situation where he starts with Haaland, Doku on one side, Semenyo on the other, and Cherky in the 10. Because, that's scary as shit right now. Because Haaland's obviously been banging form. Semenyo's hit the ground running. Doku, for me, is one of the most improved players in the league. And Cherky is the assist king. And I'm like, I want to see them four run that back ball.
And Foden watching chomping at the bit.
And Foden watching going, lads, get me on so we can pick the bones here.
The bridle bit is in the mouth
Oh,
waiting to come off
God.
the bench. It's just
Do you know,
insane,
like that's, yeah, I don't want to see that now, I have to tell you. But
tell us this, with the boys coming back, does Bruno stay in the 10 or does he revert back into the midfield? Or what would you do? That's what I suppose I'm asking. He's so good in the 10.
He absolutely is.
Mm.
I think the big issue is going to be not what he does with Bruno. It's what he does now, what he does with Ahmad. Oh, because what he does with Ahmad will dictate where everyone else goes. So here's your option. You can play Ahmad at right back if you play a flat 4, right? Do I love it? No. Yeah.
Would you love it for this game?
No.
So he'd be out there. Who's he up against then? Doku, was it?
We'd have Ahmad versus Doku.
Okay.
I don't want that.
Okay.
I don't want that. Right. Okay, so if you don't get him in at right back, the most likely place to get him in is on the right side of a front three. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
Which means Mbeumo either switches to the left and you have Ahmad and Mbeumo, either side of Sesko, and Cunha plays at the 10, which means Fernandes goes in next to Casemiro, or you leave Cunha out wide and you have Ahmad on this side, and Mbeumo goes in as the 10, and Fernandes still ends up in the 8 next to Casemiro. Now, the only way that changes is if you don't start Sesko. Because if you don't start Sesko, you can go in with Ahmad on the right, and Mbeumo on the left, Cunha up front, Bruno in the 10, and you have Ugarte and Casemiro, or Ugarte and Mainu, or Casemiro in the middle.
Mm. Yeah.
So it'll be different to see. The other thing he might do, is play without a 10. Right? And if he plays without a 10, he'll play a flat back 4. He'll play Casemiro in the 6. And he'll play Fernandes and Mount as the 2 8s higher up. And you create that little triangle behind Cunha. And then you probably have Ahmad on the right and Mbeumo on the left, I think. But there's a lot, because of the permutations of who goes where. Until you see the lineup, it's going to be hard to know.
And with the boys going back in, with the boys back in training since Wednesday, you'll have to have a look at them as well and see where they're at. And,
Yeah, like I think Ahmad's been flying. He's been flying. Mbeumo found it a little more difficult because Cameroon weren't the force that they would have wanted to be.
Yeah.
But he got a man of the match performance. There was a goal and a couple of assists and stuff like that. So there shouldn't be any big issue with the boys.
Yeah.
It'll be just interesting to see what way he wants to go about it. Do we all rock up on Saturday morning to Old Trafford, yeah? And watch Michael Carrick go in with a 3-4-3?
Hardly. I wouldn't have thought so.
Why? If you go, let's just run down this, right? If you go with the 3-4-3, yeah, you get the solidity of having 3 centre-backs, yeah? Now, I don't think the Ligt is going to be fit, but you can definitely go in with Maguire against Haaland, right? Either side of Maguire, I probably flank with pace. So I probably flank Maguire with, for me, I go with Heaven in the left and Lenny Yoro on the right. So I put pace in and around Maguire and I let him go head to head with Haaland to try and win every ball up there and stuff like that and give him a whack every now and again. Right. That then means I'm playing wing backs. If I go wing backs, I'm probably going Diallo and Dorgu. Right. I'm probably going Diallo and Dorgu. And then I go in midfield and I go with maybe Casemiro and Mainu. And then you play 2 10s in behind the 9 and you can go Fernandez and Cunha, or you can go Bilmo and Cunha and Sesko and change around there. The formation that he decides to play and the position he plays Ahmad in will dictate everything.
I'd be surprised if he went with that. I think with this one, I think he'll. I think he'll.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Do you just go in and change the playbook to change it, right? Because, like, I gotta be honest, if I'm playing City at the minute, no matter what team in the league I am, watching the way they're free scoring, yeah, I'd probably go in with 3 at the back as well.
So it's going to you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So you may as well have a pop.
Well, like, okay, so if I go in with a flat 4 and they give me an absolute hiding, I look terrible. If I go in with a 3 and I lose by 1, I'm still terrible because I've gone in with the 3. And in everyone's head, well, if we'd gone in with a 4, we'd have been okay, because everyone likes to talk about
what did he
this is hindsight.
What did he structurally tend to play with at Borough?
4-3-3.
So you would assume he'd go back to his. You would assume he'd play his
90% of the games. He played as Middlesbrough manager. He played 4-3-3.
So you would expect him to revert. You would expect him to go with the norm. When you go with where he's comfortable,
I would think so. But this is Man United. Also, look at the pieces of the puzzle. Like, if you're going in against City, yeah, and you're going in with a flat 4, with what we have at the back, who you picking as a flat 4?
Yeah.
So if you're going in right back, right, Mazraoui's still away, it can't be him. You're probably not going to play Yoro as a right back because he's a centre back and he doesn't look as good out when he's stuck at the touchline.
Yeah.
And you'll lose a lot going forward. So then that brings you to Dalot or Diallo. Neither option I like in a flat 4. If it's a wing back, I'm making him Diallo. If it's, if it's a flat 4, I'd probably go Dalot. But even at that, I'm going Dalot with my eyes closed. I'm like, no, right?
Again, against Doku, yeah.
Look at the left back slot, which is where Semenyo's going to play. Options: Luke Shaw. No, not in a flat 4. Patrick Dorgu, possibly, but we know he likes to do his work higher up the pitch. Therefore,
so would you go with Dalot, Maguire, Shaw, Dorgu? Move Shaw in a bit more central there beside Maguire.
If you move Shaw in next to Maguire, you're then looking past Heaven, Yoro, and Martinez to get Shaw a spot in the 2 centre backs.
Well, I suppose then you're probably going Maguire and Martinez then, aren't you? Centrally. Then you're going where you going. This
is where this conundrum
you're trying to balance the naivety of youth versus the experience of, and you're trying to find a blend.
I think I go in with a blend of experience and youth. So I go Maguire and I go Yoro and Heaven, because I'm going in with Maguire's physicality and I'm going in with the mobility of the 2 younger guys and their ability to come out of a tree with the ball at their feet.
Do you need a Martinez in there to get into the trenches for you because it's a derby?
Not for me, because the likely thing there is he sees red and doesn't see the end of the game.
The only thing I'm thinking of, from your point of view, you probably want to pull this down into the trenches and have a go off these guys, rough them up a bit and try and knock them out of their kilter. Martinez might be that guy, and you might be lucky enough to get a referee as well that recognises the fact that it's a fucking derby.
You don't see who the referee is?
No, who's reffing?
Have a guess.
It's not the ball lad, is it? What's his name again?
Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, joking.
Yeah.
How does that lad get these gigs? It's beyond me. It's beyond
right.
me.
It's hard work. It's real hard work.
That's insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
So that's where I think there's an issue. Like, what do you do? I think if you go in a flat 4 against City this weekend, you leave yourself open, real open, because we don't have a 6 that protects well. We don't have a Casemiro of 5 years ago who gets across that line in the middle and cuts everything out. You know, you're watching lads go by him who shouldn't be able to tie his knife.
And you're lacking that bit of mobility in midfield, aren't you? Yeah,
massively.
Yeah, and that's where they can overrun you, and then you have a problem because then you're not just facing 4, you're facing 7. Yeah,
and there's streams of them coming onto you.
Yeah, right. So what you're going to score draw, are you? Then that's what you're thinking.
Let's bravely go where no man has gone before. 2-2.
2-2. Interesting. Right, we'll fly down through the others then. Chelsea, Brentford.
If it was at Brentford, I'd be going for Brentford. But because it's at Chelsea, I'm going to just go Chelsea 2-1.
2-1.
Just a shade it.
Leeds, Fulham.
Can't look past Leeds at home at the minute. They've been very, very good.
Had a good turnaround, haven't they?
Yeah, they sure have. Big respect to Daniel Farke. I'm going to go Leeds. Yeah, I'll go Leeds. I'll go Leeds 2-1.
Yeah, tied again. Yeah, Liverpool, Burnley.
Yeah, I think we'll see Liverpool get over the line here.
There we say just enough again. 2-1 probably again.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be anything crazy now. Yeah, maybe 3 because it's at home. 3-1 at home.
Sunderland, Palace.
Sunderland, Palace back up to the Stadium of Light.
You'd have to go with Sunderland, wouldn't you?
Palace will nullify them and annoy them, and let's go 1-0.
1-0. Tottenham, West Ham could be the sacking of 1 or 2 managers.
Yeah, like I don't really fancy either, but I think with Solanke being back, and I think with Gallagher bringing fresh legs into the midfield there, I think you'd have to shade it for Spurs here. We'll go Spurs 2-1.
Joanne, I would love that. I don't say that happening.
Yeah, I think 3-1. I think 3-1.
Yeah. I think we're just going to play against teams at a certain level to just get over the line at times. Forest, Arsenal. Potential upset. Could you see anything?
Arsenal do not like going to Forest. That's the one thing I will say. They don't have an amazing track record there. But in saying that, I think Forest aren't in great form. The one thing you would kind of say that gives them a chance is Sean Dyche has done it to Arsenal a few times, where that Dyche ball, and they spoil a game of football disruptive. So
don't let you get a flow. Don't let you get a flow.
Yeah. There's a possibility of that. But no, I'll go on. I'll go Arsenal. 3-1.
3-1. Wolves versus Newcastle.
Rob Edwards really, really trying his best here.
It's a tough gig, though. Tough gig.
It is, but here's the thing I would say, and this for me is very important. If Wolves have half a brain cell, when they took Edwards in, they caveated that with, you're coming in, we're going to be relegated, you're going to manage us next year in the Championship.
Get us back up. See what works, see what doesn't work, get to the players, understand it. We're going to lose some. You'll have to bring some back in, find a style that would work. And I think if they came back to the league with Edwards again, they would have a spin. Yeah.
But I think in this case, I can't see past Newcastle. But I do think Wolves will make it difficult. Why don't we just go Newcastle 2-1?
Yeah. Aston Villa, Everton. I have to say, we took the taxi down past the new stadium the other night coming home from Anfield, the Uber. The stadium looks magnificent, man, in real life. Really.
Well, listen, if it's any use, it looks magnificent from fucking everywhere else.
Yeah, but when you're down there on the docks looking across at it, it looks the business now. And I was actually saying to the cab driver, he was a blue, and I said to him, you just need now to make that investment to bring the football you want to see to that stadium. Don't kind of do a little bit like kind of what Spurs have done, magnificent stadium, and have them matched it then on the pitch.
Yeah, but the issue with Spurs hasn't necessarily been the amount of money they've spent on players. They've just recruited really badly.
Yeah, well, they haven't. They haven't really pushed, as we spoke earlier about pushing into that higher echelon. Instead of them buying like 2 players for like 120 million, they buy 3 or 4 players, and they go into that middle ground again at times. You know what I mean?
But like, I don't know. Like, I still think they've spent enough money to be at a much, much better level.
But what I think is, if you look at the money they've spent, if you're looking at a United or a Liverpool or a City or an Arsenal, and you want to be in around that mix, you have to buy less players for the same amount of money, and you have to buy a better quality player, I think.
Of course.
Yeah. Where are we? Aston Villa, Everton, what'd you say?
I don't think 3, Joanne. I think that's stretchy, if I'm honest.
I think it'd be 2. I think it'd be 2.
Yeah, I don't think Everton cough up an awful lot. Gotta say, really, really strange decision from Aston Villa this week, letting Daniel Malen leave the building.
I said, what are they doing?
Like,
they're fighting on a lot of fronts as well.
Crazy. We spoke about the size of the squad at Villa, and it not being as big as they would like it to be for what they have going on.
And especially for him, he needs options on that bench, even in game. He needs that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's gone now. Now listen, maybe they've something in the pipeline. But from the sound of it, it had to happen, or there was PSR issues.
They're still struggling, aren't they, over the wage bill? The wage bill's killing them.
So I think they probably won't dip too far into it, and it was more a steadying of the ship, which is it's sad for Villa fans, because this is as good a position as you've seen Aston Villa in for a long time.
They're so close, aren't they? They're just you can reach out and touch it, and they've just been on that financial level. They've just been mismanaged, and that's just going to make them fall short from where they should be, really. You know what I mean? Just
a little bit, which is unfortunate, but it's also the par for the course as well, isn't it? I think Villa will get over the line here, but I think much closer than that.
Tighter.
Excuse me, much closer than that. I'll go 2-1 Villa.
2-1, and then Brighton, Bournemouth.
At home, Brighton. I generally fancy Brighton at home to get something. They have a decent home record. The boy Matoma's back as well now, and stuff like that. And obviously Bournemouth will be a different
coming off a good result in the FA Cup as well against you boys.
Yeah. And Bournemouth,
ex-Semenyo.
Still a couple of boys at the AFCON and stuff, so it's tough for them.
Yeah, interesting. Right. What's up next? I wanted to have a quick chat with you about Carrick. Just get you. I mean, we've already spoke a bit about it already anyway, so but in general, a tough run of fixtures, isn't it, for you, really?
Absolutely.
Baptism of fire and stuff like that and all, but how you feel? You're excited by him coming in? Are you something different? Something, he's shown a little bit about what he can do and stuff like that. He was treated very badly at Borough, really, when you think about who they sold off on him and all. He was right at the cusp there, wasn't he?
Yeah. There's a few things I will say. Number one, like the losing the job at Borough, people say, oh, he got sacked at Borough. But if you look a little deeper, because as you know, I'm a Championship fan.
Yeah.
He had Borough absolutely pouring, right? And he had Chuba Akpom, he had Jed Spence, he had Finn Azaz, he had Morgan Rogers, he had Cameron Archer. He had a lot going on, and they were just popping the ball about. Emmanuel Latela, They were popping the ball about. It was quick. It was fast paced. They pressed high. They nicked the ball. They scored goals. They were a little bit. There wasn't too many clean sheets at Borough, but the games were like 4-1, 4-2, 3-1. They concede a goal, but they score 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right. And that's generally where they were. And then the boys sold the crown jewels because they needed to fall into line with PSR and FFP and stuff. And then they went out and replaced them. And some of the guys they replaced them with just didn't reach the level because they sold 50 or 60 million worth of talent. And they put 15 to 20 back in, and it just doesn't equate, you know.
And the interesting thing is, every time he unearthed another new talent, they sold him off.
Yeah.
I think on 3 occasions he was humming at times, and they sold off the crown jewels.
So that's difficult.
That's really tough.
Listen, I suppose after it's all said and done, I'm still a bit put out that Amarin's not there. That's still left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. Because I think he was building.
But he was to a point, but I think it had to change though, didn't it? From where
I don't think it did. I think the only reason it had to change was, there was an issue in the background. The Jason Wilcox issue and the Christopher Vivell issue. I think that's what caused the change. I don't think the issues were with Barada, in fairness. I think the issues were more with Vivell and Wilcox.
Would you have favoured Amarin to stay and a change there at that level? Because there seems to be a lot of heat on Wilcox at the moment.
It's hard to know, and here's why I will say it's hard to know. If I look at Wilcox being part of the changes that have been made at the club, there's a lot of changes that I like. There's been a cultural shift, into how they want to do things, and even the way they've approached the recruitment of kind of younger players and stuff like this, to buffer between that under-21s team and the first team and stuff. Where we seen him do it at City, where he brought lads in, they didn't even kick a ball for them, and they sold them for 20 to 25 million. You're going, what's going on here? Romeo Lavia, Sekou Kone, these kind of lads that came in at City, never made it to the first team, but they still sold for 20 million after buying them for the 1 or 2 million. So that's tremendous, and that's something we as a club need. We need to buy low and sell high, which generates the money then to pump back into that first team and keep it the way. And again, every now and again, you're going to get one of those little golden nuggets that will make it to your first team and will save you 60 or 70 million in a particular spot. So I do, but I think the issue was Wilcox wanted to blur the line slightly between what he was doing and what the manager was doing. And he wanted to have a say in certain things. Now, listen, some people will say, he's director of football, he should have say. Right? Some people will say that.
Well, certainly if you need it, and certainly with the way it was going in terms of results and stuff like that and all, there's nothing wrong with sitting down and having an old heart-to-heart in a conversation.
But there's 2 things that are really important there. Number one is, how does the heart-to-heart happen? Right? Because, like... Well,
we know from Amarin's point of view, he's not like... He's not usually open to change a lot.
There's a lot in the delivery, let's say, of how,
Yeah.
Plus, the other thing is, and like, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to go back to my Arsenal comment earlier when I spoke about Kyle and the building of something, right? Like, in the earlier days when Arteta wasn't picking up the victories and stuff like that, now again, he still had a much better win rate than Amarin did, but when he wasn't picking up the victories, or when something wasn't there wasn't an opportunity to get rid of him. And Arsenal went, no, we feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you lost the last 2 out of 4. Yeah, but we feel like every possible metric that you can use to measure Manchester United now versus Manchester United 12 months ago, we've improved on it. Every single possible metric. Right? So everything is on the incline. And as everything is on the incline, you pull the plug out of the machine. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. Now, from Jason Wilcox's point of view, maybe the conversation wasn't such a good conversation. And I can imagine Ruben Amorim was very contentious about what he had to say. I imagine it was, who the fuck are you to question me? How many league titles have you won? I've won league titles. You haven't. I've been a manager. You haven't.
So you reckon this started out as a conversation and it blew up into a row, and this was trigger point. Hence now you have Carrick in there at the moment with this run of games, which is not normally where you drop a manager into that type of run of games.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because let's be honest here, if you look at those 5 games there, they're 5 tough games. That's a baptism of fire. Doesn't get.
I don't think they are.
Well, I mean, look, you've got you're starting out with Man City and Arsenal. That's
listen. The first 2 are as tough as it gets, because don't forget they're 1 and 2 in the league. But like the next 3 aren't bad. You're home against Fulham and home against Spurs, and you're away against West Ham. There's nothing wrong with them. If you're Michael Carrick, right, and you nick a point at City, and you lose against Arsenal, and you beat Fulham, and you beat Spurs, and you beat West Ham, and you get 10 from 15, you've done all right.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I see that happening, though. That's the only thing.
You don't think so?
No. I could see potentially. I could see you losing the City. I could see you maybe nicking a draw against Arsenal. I could see you drawing with Fulham and Spurs, and I could see you hammering West Ham.
So you see us with 6 points out of 15, and I see 10. We'll find out. Is it somewhere in the middle? Is it 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss? If you have 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss from them 4 games,
But you know the way it's gone similar. You know the way it's gone similar to, like, even looking at ourselves. Like you look at the games in there. Like, we're 11 unbeaten now or something like that. But if you look at those 11 games, look at where we've dropped points.
But what happens if
points?
Let's just hey Keith, how are you, pal? You reckon 6? I reckon 10ish. Yeah. So let's say we go 8 and we meet in the middle. Let's say we go 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. Yeah. So we draw against City. Yeah. We lose to Arsenal. We beat Fulham. We draw with Spurs. We beat West Ham. 8 from 15. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. How are you feeling then?
Yeah, I think you'd feel okay. I suppose you have to look at the manner of the wins and the losses and stuff like that as well. You know, like if you go out against Arsenal and they do you 5 or 6-0, I'm not saying they would, but you know what I mean. Then you look at it a little bit deeper. But I do think that's a tough old start for him as well. And he's going in.
I don't think City and Arsenal gets any tougher.
Yeah,
but the other 3, I don't really have an issue with. Like rip City and Liverpool, rip City and Arsenal off the top of the chart there, yeah?
Yeah.
If you come in as Man United manager, you got 2 home games versus Fulham and Spurs, and you've an away game versus West Ham. You're rubbing your hands together.
Yeah, no, that for me, that's okay. But what I'm saying is, if you go out against City and go out against Arsenal and you take 2 hidings, not saying it will, but you take 2 hidings, then that Fulham and Spurs games becomes very more difficult game. You know what I mean?
Of course it does. But
and then what do you have then? Do you have lads looking over the shoulder again then, questioning again? You know what I mean? Because and I'm talking in terms of fan base. I'm not talking. I
don't think this happens. By the way, I don't think it happens.
Yeah.
But what happens if he goes and beats City and Arsenal? I do not see it happening. Right?
Well, you know what will happen, because it's the likelihood of what we've seen in the past. You could go out and beat City and beat Arsenal, and you'll probably fucking draw with Fulham and Spurs.
But if you go out and beat City and Arsenal, is that not, we're at the party? We're going. You know what I mean? Is that not when you start looking at Fulham going, right, we've just beaten City, we've just beaten Arsenal. We don't want to beat Fulham, we want to rip them up. Right, we have Spurs. Then we know they can't keep a clean sheet. right? We want to go with them. Then we have West Ham. This could build very quickly. Now, absolutely, I agree with what you're saying. If I flip the coin up in the air, it's 50-50 which way it goes. It could go one way, it could go the other. I imagine it's going to fall somewhere in the middle.
I'm not even talking about it in terms of Carrick. I'm talking about it when I look at that run of games, I think in terms of the abruptness of Amarin leaving the building and having to make the appointment. That's what I mean. Because if you wanted to make the change and you had planned it, you wouldn't necessarily plan it around this run of games. We've seen it in the past as well, where there's a bit more of a protection when you bring managers in and stuff, unless it's a very abrupt decision. Because you want them to have every advantageous position of starting off well and in a positive manner. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you need is Amarin leaves the building. Ten Hag left the building, Amarin leaves the building, and all of a sudden here we are again in a mid-season situation. You appoint a manager, Carrick comes in. Obviously, he knows the United way and all that stuff. He was class for you and stuff like that. But he comes in, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean. You're ticking off another legacy situation and stuff like that with maybe not a great outcome and stuff like that. And you don't, yourself, us as fans of a club, you don't necessarily want that to happen either, But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see I think that's going to be the interesting thing on Saturday. How he sets up is going to be very, very interesting. And the way in which he sets up, is it going to be quite a free reign, or is there going to be involvement? Will it be in conjunction with Wilcox and other people and stuff like that to look at how he wants to put things together and all, But that will be interesting. Just 1 second now, I'll just check. I bet he's going to... he's back. Hang on. Ticky-boo.
Don't know what happened. It just said it lost connection.
I don't know. I was going on to WhatsApp to check that maybe your battery had gone or something. That's what I assumed.
I've 81% battery because I only remember last week we had the issue with it. So 81% battery. But back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up, pal. Hope you're good. And Dave, how are you? Dave, hope you're good, pal. I had a real good time in Liverpool. I was still sick and under the weather and all, but I go over there and I create memories with Ben that are lifelong memories, and I love them, and that's all you can do when you're over there.
We 2 weeks in a row we're gonna have little trips on a Monday and a Tuesday.
Oh, that's right, yeah, absolutely.
Have my own little trip this Monday and Tuesday. Just saying.
Nice. Right.
Can you make it bigger for me?
I can. I'll see if I can do it this way.
There we go.
How's that look?
Yeah, love that.
Now, you don't have to stick to this list if you don't want it. If you want to give me someone else, give me someone else. It's not a problem.
I like a lot of guys on that.
We talk about them week in, week out.
Yeah, I like a lot of guys there. I like a lot of guys.
This wouldn't be far away from our 11. You know what I mean?
No. Like it really wouldn't. I gotta laugh. I'm looking here. At fantasy football. Yeah. So here's who I have in my fantasy football from the list. Yeah.
Big up, Anto. How's your good, pal? Let us know in the chat as well. Who are you liking? Who are you thinking? Who are you picking out of this?
So from this team, from these 11, my front three in fantasy is Calvert-Lewin, Igor Thiago, and Erling Haaland.
So there you go.
My midfield has Rodgers, Cunha, Wilson, and Fernandes. My defensive line has Jurrien Timber, and my substitute goalkeeper is Robin Roofs. So the only one...
You'd nearly think I constructed this for you, wouldn't you?
The only
I told you you'd like it.
I don't have is Rice and Caicedo, and the only reason I don't have them is at fantasy level, they're not great point scorers.
Yeah.
Rice is better than Caicedo, but in general, they're not. they're not massive point scorers. But I've 9 of the 11. So there you go. What's
That's
the chances?
pretty good, isn't it? Yeah,
It's cool, isn't it?
So who are you picking? Who's the one so far for you? I mean, we could all go like Haaland. You know what I mean? Like, because he's been a machine. You know what I mean? But
do you know what? Genuinely, and this is going to sound crazy, like I could pick 11 of them nearly. You know, like for different reasons.
If we're picking one, are we staying with the goalkeeper unit? Because I know we're high on the boy.
No. Listen,
no, would you not? No,
he's been super.
Yeah,
he's been absolutely super.
Considering no disrespect as well, but considering the levels. Okay, because you're in a Man City, like, yeah.
If we look at last week, right?
Yeah.
They play Everton. Yeah. He saves the first 3 penalties in the shootout and they win 3-0.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. I think if we just go through them really quickly, for me, 2 best midfielders in the league, Caicedo and Rice. They've been phenomenal. Just phenomenal. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the comeback king. I don't disagree with you, Ted. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been the comeback kid. I think Robin Roofs has been phenomenal. The step up he's taken at Sunderland. Morgan Rogers, probably gets the Young PFA Player of the Year this year. Bruno Fernandes still doing it, just doing it week in, week out, doing it in the 8, doing it in the 10, doing it anywhere you put him. Haaland, goal scoring machine. Semenyo, unbelievable, got his big move. Igor Thiago really, really, really got the ball rolling.
He's out the door, He's out the door at the moment. He has about like 10 jobs.
He really does.
He hasn't got a minute.
Timber been phenomenal for Arsenal.
Harry Wilson,
taking that step up finally at Fulham from his Liverpool days, and obviously what he does with the Welsh national team and stuff. Massive. Like, all great cases. If I have to pick one, I think, and I said this the other night when we were watching something, if Arsenal win the league, Declan Rice absolutely wins the PFA Player of the Year. 100%. 100%.
His consistency is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you know who goes very, very under the radar? I don't think we've mentioned this lad any more than about twice this season. The boy Zubimendi is just super.
Do you know what he reminds me of? And I looked at some of his stuff there the other night. He reminds me of Claude Makelele, where he does an unbelievable job. But
but you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, but what you're doing is, do you know what? They will talk about Zubimendi more probably when he retires and when you look back on his career, I think, than in the moment.
Is watching Zubimendi a little bit upsetting for you? Because don't forget, if you look at Szoboszlai and McAllister as 2 8s, and you look at Zubimendi dropping in behind them as a 6, does that make you so much more solid and make everything tick a little bit better?
It probably does. It probably does. But the thing about it is as well, like, it upsets me a little bit. But I mean, if he didn't want to come and he wasn't in the right frame of mind, then you know what I mean.
Listen,
plus, I can't be upset with the uplift of Gravenberch either. Like, you know what I mean?
I think when you've tried to bring someone into the league and it didn't work out for whatever reason, it wasn't his time to league, blah, blah, blah. And then he does get to the league and it's not with you and you're watching him and you're going, fucking hell, this lad is just...
Well, listen, I'm gonna feel the same about Semenyo at City as well. And I'll probably feel the same about Gay if he goes to City as well.
Yeah, but let's be honest, the Semenyo thing wasn't anywhere near as close as the Zubimendi thing.
No, it wasn't. I mean, literally, we had the deal nearly done, and then he just
the deal was done, and the kid was like, "No, I'm not going," and whatever.
Didn't feel right.
Semenyo had his pick of where he wanted to go.
And the thing about it is, I'd rather if it didn't feel right that he didn't come than if he came and he wasn't happy. You know,
absolutely.
And look, so from that point of view, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean?
But you know what? It could also be, and I'm not suggesting. Listen, if it's me, I choose the opposite way. But if I think of being a Spaniard coming to the Premier League, right? Landing in Liverpool could be difficult culturally. Where the
draw of London is huge.
Dropping into London There's probably a lot more Spanish people around me, you know, from the business world, from other worlds that I can, you know, there's probably a couple of Spanish restaurants, stuff like that, where I can make myself feel a little
Culturally,
more.
London's more diverse. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, listen, if it's me, I pick Liverpool all day long. But that's because it suits the background of where I came from more rather than, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're used to looking out at the rolling hills and you're sipping your wine on your balcony and stuff like that, you know, it's a different shade of grey.
That's what the kid said, you know what, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
But when Arsenal come knocking, that might work.
And that's okay, because it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, you know.
I'd actually go as far as to say it's a real clever choice from the kid. You know, to understand.
Well, we'll know more at the end of the season. I mean, he's played very well and he looks very well, but the reality.
Because don't forget, also not an easy thing to turn down in Liverpool.
No, that's true, and especially at the time when we were looking really good. Like we weren't in the mire that we weren't in the disarray we're in a little bit now. You know,
when you were in for him, you were the best team on the planet.
Yeah, we were at a kind of peak attractiveness. That's for sure. Yeah, 100%. No, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, right. That is it, I think. Then so there we are. Well, there we go. Another show in the bag. Good crack. We didn't get to discuss your central defenders, so we'll do a poll on next week's show, will we?
We will.
We'll hold it for next week and we'll do a poll on next week's show and we'll put up the two boys.
I've now spoken to 5, including myself.
Okay. So what's it looking like?
One lad has 3 votes, the other lad has 2.
Okay, so it's tight.
It's tight enough.
Yeah, it's tight enough, yeah. It's interesting. I suppose it depends on what you look for and what you like in a certain player and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like in the video. I will have a preview up tomorrow at some stage for the Burnley game. Also, don't forget to join us tomorrow night live, I think around 7:30ish. We are going to be doing a SmackDown watch-along. And we also have a Raw watch-along on Monday night in Belfast. Yeah, but we go on a half an hour early and we discuss the card and give our predictions and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully maybe the Demon on Monday might return to Belfast and could have a say in the belt with a bit of luck as well. So we shall see.
I would love to see the Demon return on Monday night. However,
that's the talk.
I don't know if you blow your load on the Demon on a Monday night Raw.
They took the belt off Cody Rhodes on a SmackDown in Germany.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But like, Punk ain't losing that belt before Mania.
I don't think so, but I still do think. Did we get a little preview on the Cody Rhodes podcast where he spoke about the Demon coming back at the most opportunist times?
Listen, you know? If the lights went and the Demon came out, I would be a very, very happy boy.
Isn't it kind of what the Raw and SmackDown shows need at the moment? They need something to happen on those shows instead of drawing us along and then giving us something on the pay-per-view or the PLE.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, like you got to mix it up a bit. You got to make sure that people are watching because there's a possibility that someone's going to lose a match and a belt on a SmackDown or a Raw. If there's no chance they're going to lose and it's only going to change hands of the PLEs, I just watch the PLEs and I filter through the middle of the other gear. So that has to happen a little more often for WWE to keep us on the hook a little bit better.
Yeah, so maybe that's the case. Who's your GOAT defender? Mine is Maldini, according to Keith. It's a great show. I mean, he's defending royalty. Listen, we could throw a few names out there, but are we going to top Maldini? Good Lord.
I don't think we're topping Maldini anywhere. I just think he was, Maldini and Baresi are probably right at the top of the hit list for me. I find it hard to
Maldini as well was so versatile as well, wasn't he?
Could drop
Maldini's one of those players you could put him in any position, he just come out smelling the roses. He's just a great talent, great footballer.
Yeah. And as well, a handsome devil.
Yeah, true.
Tell our cheerleaders to quieten down in the back there.
They're in the background there having fun with the dogs. I won't. I'll tell you offline. I'll ring you in the morning and let you know what I had to do to a dog today.
You tell me in the morning.
Rough.
Niall,
rough.
Niall, was it rough?
It was proper rough.
Oh,
And not Robin Roof. It was rough. But there we go.
Right.
Listen, folks, have a good time. Check out the shorts. Everything going up all the time and all. Lads, my hopes, Bren with the last comment. Lads, my hopes are high again, but WWE have let us down too much. We have trust issues with them at this stage. Bren got very upset last week on the SmackDown watch along. Cody's his boy.
Well,
Cody is his boy.
Did you tell him that Cody is also my boy?
I did. He knows Cody's your boy.
Cody is my boy, but did you tell him that
you had messaged me 2 hours before the show or whatever it was to let me know?
He's losing it here. This is so. Do you know what? I like it. I like what they did. I think it was time. And
I'm a big fan of Drew as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think even Cody himself would kind of admit, you know what, it was time.
Yeah.
And you have to do these things with these sort of things. Timing is
key.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. You know?
Absolutely.
Just ask Ryback.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Right, folks. Talk